Between the lessons and the insurance, as well as the cost of booking your test and applying for your provisional license, learning to drive can be pretty expensive. But there are huge savings to be made if you know where to look. Last year, Cover did the sums, and we found that learner drivers could be saving thousands by just using temporary learner driver insurance policies instead of being added to someone else's policy as a named driver. Do learner drivers need insurance? Well, this is an easy answer. Yes, all drivers need insurance in their name to drive. Even if your car is just parked up, it needs to be insured. The only exception to this is taking your car off-road and declaring it stolen. And unfortunately, if you're a parent or guardian, your insurance will most likely not cover someone else using your car. Now let's talk about how you could save money using ultra-flexible car insurance. First up, some background. According to the Driving Standards Agency, you need around 44 hours of driving lessons in order to pass your test. In addition, it's recommended that drivers get around 20 hours on average of additional supervised driving lessons to make sure they're nice and confident for the test. When you pay for lessons, insurance is usually thrown in, though it's always good to double check. This leaves us with your supervised practice outside of lessons. What is the cheapest way to master those maneuvers before your big test? You've got two options here: to use hourly learner driver car insurance, like the kind offered by Cover, or to be added as a named driver to a family member or friend's policy. Let's crunch those numbers. Through a price comparison website, we found it would cost a family in Bristol £498.99 to insure a 2011 Vauxhall Astra Active. Adding their 19-year-old son who's learning to drive to the policy would cost an additional £1,293, pushing the premium up to £1,792. If the same learner driver opted to use Cover's temporary learner driver insurance, insuring by the hour at a rate of £11.39 an hour, it would cost them only £228 to complete the 20 additional recommended hours. Using hourly insurance could save this family £1,065, and the cost of being added as a named driver to a policy is even higher in different parts of the UK. Using the same 19-year-old learner driver and using the same car make and model as earlier, the additional cost of being a named driver in Birmingham, Manchester and London is all over £3,500. It's more than £2,000 extra in Sheffield, Cardiff, Glasgow, Liverpool and Newcastle, and more than £1,000 extra in Leeds, Southampton, Dorset, Bristol and Plymouth. In fact, the average price of adding this learner driver to a policy in the 13 regions that we looked at was £2,253. You could save £2,000 or more depending on the city that you're insuring. While we're all here, here's some extra costs to factor into learning to drive. £23 for the theory test, £34 or £43 for the provisional license, depending on whether you apply by post or online. It's cheaper by post. £62 or £75 for the driving test, depending on whether you go for the cheaper weekday option or the more expensive weekend and bank holiday option. 44 hours of driving lessons will cost you on average between £1,188 to £1,540, depending on the exact price you manage to secure. And here's a few more things to consider about using flexible hourly insurance instead of being added as a named driver. With temporary insurance, you borrow a car using a standalone policy. This means that the car owner's no claims bonus is protected even if you make a claim. Temporary insurance is also usually fully comprehensive. All of Cover's policies are, which means you're covered for damage to yourself, others, your car, others' car, other property, and foreign theft. Temporary insurance takes just minutes to sort and starts instantly. No waiting for policy docs in the post. Being a named driver impacts the car owner's premium, usually making it more expensive. Temporary car insurance doesn't impact the premium. And that's all from me. Don't forget to click subscribe for even more tips and tricks. For more insurance guides and advice, follow the links in the video description. Happy driving.